So in this newsletter, I'm going to include some of the training that I pulled out of my new Basic Dog Obedience video that was done in September 18th, 2018. The first video I ever did on Basic Dog Obedience was 1982. It was redone over a number of times over the years, but the last time I did it was 2008. So I spent the last couple of years redoing and working on and trying to make it just as good as I could make it for new dog trainers to understand. And in this newsletter, we're going to cover when you should add a voice command if you're using free shaping or if you are using luring in a reward-based training. That's an important concept for new trainers to understand, and it's just a little bit of our Basic Dog Obedience video, but you're going to see it here. You don't start to think about adding the command until your dog is fluent with a gesture. You don't start it when you're having to do the big long lures. But when you're able to shorten your lure into a short little gesture, for example, the sit, then you can start to think about adding the sit command. The reason for this, and I've said it again and again, but I'm going to repeat myself, the reason is dogs are visual. From the time they're little puppies, they're visual. They react to the visual movement before they react to a spoken word. They don't understand English. They don't understand the meaning of sit. The way we teach them the meaning of a sit is when we're going to do their training with our dogs, we start by saying the command first, then pause, then the gesture, then the reward. It's important not to give the gesture at the same time that you say sit, because the only thing you're doing is teaching the dog to follow the movement or follow the gesture. You have to say sit, gesture, reward. If you do this enough, you're going to start to see the dog start to move on the word sit. So you can go sit, the dog sits, you don't have to offer the gesture. You basically fade the gesture out of the program. And if your dog seems to have problems, help the dog, give the gesture. You can give the gesture forever. In the long run, your gesture can be a silent command to your dog. But remember, the important thing is to have the pause in between the command and the gesture for the dog. It's really, really, really important. People have a hard time. They want to say sit. It's not the way you do it. Say sit, reward. It's just like when you started doing marker training. You give the mark, yes, reward. You don't do yes, you do yes, reward. Yes, reward. Practice it. Sit, give the gesture, reward. There's pauses in between the sit, the gesture, a pause in between the gesture and the reward.